Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my review series for The Last of Us. Yeah, it's been a while. If you're new here, my name's Zach Roseman. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I have reviewed every episode up to this point, and if you want to catch up, I highly suggest clicking the playlist or just watch the damn show to develop your own opinion for yourself. And if you haven't watched the show, click off because spoilers. But let's be honest, it's been fucking how many months? So this is gonna be a conjoined video for my reviews for 7, 8, and 9. Because let's be honest, all in one video is way better than just doing separate. Now episode 7 is titled Left Behind, and it takes place, I think, a couple of days before the events of the rest of the season, because it covers the DLC for the game. And this episode was a blind spot for me because I never played this part of the game. I never played the DLC. I knew about it, but I didn't really know the full story. And I think this episode does a good job adapting it. I liked Ellie and Riley. I think Bella Ramsey and Storm Reed play off each other really well. And I like that we see where Ellie gets her sass from, mostly. I also like the mall setting. It gives off this sense of wonder that both we, the audience, and Ellie are experiencing for the first time, and it's so full of color. I love it. But as for this episode, I didn't really like that it was the 7th episode. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but it definitely should have been an earlier episode, but I get that they placed it here since the DLC took place right before the winter section of the game. But I do think they rushed it a small bit because it just feels like it ends abruptly. Like, literally after Ellie and Riley argue, they split off, Riley screams, they find it infected, and they're both bit. It's such a rushed sequence that I didn't even process that they both got bit until I rewatched the episode. But I still really enjoyed this episode, and I would place it probably in between episode 6 and 2 on my ranking. On to episode 8. Episode 8 follows Ellie as she comes across a group of survivors that seem a bit off. This episode fucking ruled, dude. I loved every minute of it. I like that we're introduced to David in the first scene just to establish him as a preacher and a leader to his group of survivors. I also think that Scott Shepherd does an incredible job as the character. And I also love the cameo Troy Baker makes as David's friend and right-hand man, James. Speaking of the cast, I just want to again praise Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey for just being the perfect choices to play Joel and Ellie. Joel in this episode is fucking terrifying. All because of the way Pedro portrays his anger. He's not lashing out, but is instead calm and collected. And he's strategic when he interrogates 2 of David's lackeys. And Bella just excels as Ellie in this episode. I'll admit I was a bit skeptical of them playing her, but because I didn't really know what other films or TV shows they were a part of. But now I 100% believe that Bella Ramsey was the perfect choice to play Ellie. Without these two, the show wouldn't be as good as it is. Episode 8 was phenomenal and a great way to put the story back on track. I'm genuinely hoping that episode 9 will conclude this story in a great way without feeling rushed. And concluded it well, it did. That made no sense. Episode 9 is just a good finale episode. I like the bit with Ellie's mom in the beginning. I also like that it hints toward how Ellie is immune but not outright saying it. Also, Ellie's mom being played by... who is she played by, Alex?
I don't know.
Being played by the voice actor for Ellie is just so good.
Wait, what? It didn't save?
Uh-oh. It's a good cherry on top of this for this finale episode. I also like the way they did the scene with Joel trying to get Ellie to joke around with him, like the scene with them in the giraffe. Perfect recreation of the scene from the game. I also really like the way they did Joel's hospital massacre scene. It's such a nice parallel to the game because you fully see that Joel's not a good guy in the slightest. He's ruthlessly killing people and preventing them from making some sort of cure that would kill Ellie since the cordyceps was developing in her brain. Yet, in a twisted way, it makes a lot of sense for his character to do this. Let's run down what has happened to Joel in this series. He lost his daughter at the beginning of the outbreak, turning him to this dark and grim man that made everyone turn their heads every time he entered the room. He has spent the last 20 years killing people to the point where it's a chore for him. But when he meets Ellie, he finds the light in his darkness, which now I'm just realizing now perfectly makes sense with the fucking episode titles. The first episode was When You're Lost in the Darkness, and I think this is called You'll Find the Light. I think. So perfect episode names. But we see throughout the series, he opens up more and they truly bond with one another. And also, again, Pedro Pascal absolutely nailed his character. He perfectly brought Joel to life while also being able to make the character his own. I don't know why I wrote this. He's exactly the same as he is in the game. Well, Joel wouldn't have been half as great as a character. What was I on when I was writing this? Yeah, okay, it is called Look for the Light. I was right. And it really makes you struggle with what you agree with when Joel takes Ellie after killing the only people that we know can make a cure. You could be frustrated, but you can also agree with his actions to some degree because he did the one thing that he couldn't do for his daughter, and that's saving her.
I did say my hurt myself. I found a ship. I died of dehydration, poisoning.
He finally saved someone he loved, someone he cared about, sacrificing humanity for it. I'm curious to see how the people who haven't played the game will react to Season 2. Because depending on what Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann do, they might have a lot more people agreeing with Abby. If you know, you know. And that's pretty much my thoughts on Episode 9. I thought it was a beautiful end to such a great season. The Last of Us is a great adaptation of the game. The scenes that were so iconic in the original game translated really well into live action while also having new stuff involved. Although, I'm not going to lie, I do wish there was a little bit more new stuff. But, again, Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are once again two of the greatest castings for two of the most iconic characters in video game history. I can't wait to see what happens in Season 2 because I think they've said in the past that they want to focus on Joel and Ellie a bit more before doing Part 2 story, but I don't know. And I'm going to give The Last of Us Season 1 a very solid 9.5 out of 10. Good season, good cast, good music. Oh god, I should have talked about the music more. Please don't kill me. I'm sorry for this being like 3 months late. A lot of shit has happened. I can't say anything because, yeah, a lot of shit. Personal. Alright. Stick around for more videos. Bye-bye!